Welcome. I am Advocate Bhagyashree Bhosle, working as a lecturer. In today's lecture, we shall see, we shall learn the meaning of a prospectus, feature and characteristics of the prospectus, content of the prospectus, misstatement in a prospectus, statement in a lieu of a prospectus, and a red herring prospectus. First of all, we shall see the meaning of a prospectus. As per section 236 of the Companies Act, describe a prospectus as any document issued as a prospectus and include any notice, circular, advertisement and other document inviting deposit from the public or inviting offer from the public for the subscription or a purchase of any share in or a debentures of the company or a body corporate. Then we shall see the feature of the prospectus. We can say it is a document which invite deposit from the public or invite offer from the public for subscription of a share or a debenture of the company. The word inviting deposit from the public were added by the Companies Act 1974. We shall see the feature and characteristics of the prospectus. The feature and characteristics of the prospectus are as follows. It is a document issued as a prospectus. It is an invitation to the member of the public. The public is invited to subscribe to the share or a debenture of the company. It includes any notice, circular, inviting the deposit from the public. It is a document by which a company procures its share capital needed to carry on its activities. Then we shall see the content of the prospectus. Every prospectus must contain the following information. The content of a memorandum. It expresses the name of the company, object, nature of the business, share capital and its division, liability of members, names and addresses of the signatories and the number of a subscriber by them. Then another important information which should be mentioned in a prospectus is the qualification share of the director. If the article of the company provide that certain minimum number of a share to be possessed by the director as a qualification, in that case a person shall not be qualified to act as a director unless he holds such a number of a share. Then third, another important information which should be mentioned in a prospectus is a number of a redeemable preference share. Particulars regarding the debentures and redeemable preferences share with that date of a redemption must be stated. Then remuneration of the directors and the promoters. The prospectus must contain the rate of a remuneration for attending the meeting and for other services of the directors and the promoters. The name, description and addresses of the directors and managing directors. The name, description and addresses, occupation of the directors, managing directors, managers and the provision regarding their appointment must be stated in a prospectus. Then another important provision which should be stated or mentioned in a prospectus is the minimum subscription. The minimum subscription on which the director may proceed to allotment and the amount payable on the application and allotment on each share should also be stated in a prospectus. The time of opening of a subscription list should also be stated. Then name and addresses of the vendors if any, and the mode of a payment of a purchase price and goodwill should also be contained in a prospectus. Underwriting commissions and brokerage should be mentioned in a prospectus. The name of the auditors and their addresses, particulars of the contracts, preliminary expenses for the company, the particulars of the directors, disclosure, expected rate of the dividend and voting rights, inspection of the balance sheet and the profit and loss account, report by the auditor. All these things or facts should be stated in a prospectus. If any person make an untrue statement or a false statement, then we can say it as a misstatement in a prospectus. Misstatement and false statement in a prospectus are instruments by which dishonest company's promoter may practice fraud on the public money. In order to prevent these practices, the law imposes certain duties and liability on those persons who are responsible for such a issue. However, the prospectus contain any misstatement of a material fact, or if the prospectus which contain in any material fact, two types of liabilities will arise. They are the civil liabilities and criminal liability. Before discussing the above, we are known the liability which may arise for the untrue statement. It is a duty of a author of the prospectus to see that the prospectus does not contain any untrue statement which may mislead the public. As per section 65 of the Companies Act, untrue statement in connection with the prospectus shall deem to include a statement which is a misleading in the form and context in which it is included. An omission which is calculated to mislead. In short, untrue statement means and include any statement which is not only a false statement but also a statement which create a wrong information of an actual act. Concealment of a material fact is also treated as a misstatement of the misstatement or a untrue statement. Now we are going to highlight the civil and criminal liability that may appear due to the misstatement in a prospectus. First of all, we shall see the civil liability. The Companies Act states that such a person are liable to pay compensation for any loss or damage which any person may suffer from the purchase of any share or a debenture on the basis of an untrue statement. Consequently, a person who has suffered a loss may claim the contribution from the others who were associated relating to the issue of the prospectus until it appears that he was guilty of a fraud while the others were not proved to be guilty. Then we shall see the criminal liability. As per the provision of the Companies Act, every person who has authorized the issue of a prospectus containing untrue statement shall be punishable with the imprisonment and fine or a both. Penalty. As per the company's provision of the Companies Act provide that a person shall not either knowingly or recklessly by making any statement, promise or to forecast which is a false, deceptive or misleading, or by any dishonest concealment of the material fact, induce or attempt to induce another person to enter into or to offer to enter into any agreement for acquiring, disposing of, or subscribing for the underwriting shares or debentures, or any agreement. The purpose of a pretending purpose of which it is a secured a profit to any of the parties from the yield of the share or a debentures. Otherwise, he shall be punishable with the imprisonment or a fine or a both. Person, then we shall see the person who are liable for the untrue statement in a prospectus. According to section 62 of the Companies Act, the following persons are the liable for the untrue statement in a prospectus. Every person who is a director of the company at the time of the issue of the prospectus is liable. Every person who has authorized himself to be named and is named in a prospectus either as a director or having agreed to become a director either immediately or after the interval of the time. Every person who is a promoter of the company is liable for untrue statement in a prospectus. Every person who has authorized the issue of the prospectus. Then we shall see the provision regarding the statement in a lieu of a prospectus. In a public company, if a public company does not invite the public to subscribe for its share but acquires to have a money from a private sources, it may not issue a prospectus. In these circumstances, the promoter are required to prepare a draft prospectus, which is known as a statement in the lieu of a prospectus, which contain the information required to be disclosed by the Schedule 3 of the Act. As per Section 70 of the Companies Act, A company having a share capital which does not issue a prospectus shall not allot any of its share or a debenture unless at least 3 days before the allotment of a share or a debenture there has been delivered to the register of the registration a statement in a lieu of a prospectus. The statement shall be signed by every person who is named therein as a director or a proposed director of the company or by any his authorized agent in a writing. It shall be in a form and contain the particular set in a schedule 3 of the act. Then as per the section 70 lays down that any regarding the contravention of a section 70, the company and every director of the company who willfully authorized or permit the contravention shall be punishable with the fine. Similarly, section 70 subsection 5 also state that where the statement in the lieu of a prospectus any untrue statement, the person responsible for the issue thereof may be punished for imprisonment which may extend to 2 years with fine or a without fine. Then we shall see the provision regarding the red herring prospectus. A red herring prospectus is a document which is submitted by a issuer of the company with intent to have a public offering of the security. It must be filed with the Security Exchange Commission. The term red herring prospectus come from the tradition of a Great Britain. The content of a red herring prospectus are as follows. The red herring prospectus contain the purpose of the issue of the prospectus, proposed offering, price range, promotion expenses, copy of the underwriting agreements, underwriters commission, discount, disclosure of any option agreement, balance sheet, net proceed to the issuing company, earning statement for the last 3 years, legal opinion to issue the prospectus, and copies of the articles of a incorporation and issue, the name, addresses and offices of the underwriting. In the last, we shall see the provision regarding the shell prospectus. The concept of a shell prospectus was introduced in 2000 in a Companies Amendment Act 2000. As per the provision of this act, every financial institution, public scheduled bank and public financial company have to file a shell prospectus because they are making repeatedly offer to the public for the subscription. So instead of filing a prospectus, there is a mandatory for all financial institution, financial banking, financial companies to file a shell prospectus instead of the prospectus. In this way, in today's lecture, we learn about the meaning of the prospectus, the kinds of the prospectus, statement in a lieu of the prospectus, and liability for untrue or misleading statement in a prospectus. In conclusion, we can say that the prospectus is a very important document in the eyes of the company as well as in the eyes of the public who want to invest money in a company in a form of a share or a debentures. Thank you very much.